Meeting to order at 5:34 p.m. The meeting's being held in open session in accordance with chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. The business as conducted by the board will be done so in open session. Each regular session will be opened with prayer and pledges to the flags. All persons in attendance are welcome to and free to participate or not at their personal discretion. If you will, join me in the pledges. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Heavenly Father, as we gather today, we seek your wisdom and guidance. Be with us in our discussions and guide our decisions, so we always do what is right and just and serve worthily those who rely on us. Amen.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle. Before we move on to agenda item number one, I want to thank Judge Krause for agreeing to come and do our installation, and I want to welcome the new board members that he's fixing to install, and hope you get as much enjoyment out of this as the rest of us have. So, Judge Krause, I'm going to turn it over to you for the administration of oath of office.
Okay, I think you guys can just stay where you are, but if you want to stand and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, and please state your name,
I, God,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of the office of Comal Appraisal District Board of Directors
of the office of Comal Appraisal District Board of Directors
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, guys.
Thank you, Judge. Thanks, Judge.
You sign that, and we'll get the judge to.
If you
Thank you, Joe.
All right, moving on to agenda item number two. We need to elect officers for this year. And so the first position that we need to consider is that of chairman. Do I have any nominations?
Nominate Eric Couch for the chairman.
Okay,
I'll second.
all right, I'm gonna nominate Bob Slepik for chairman.
Second.
All right, any other nominations? Not, we'll close the nominations. We'll do it by vote of hands. All in favor of Eric Couch, raise your hand. All in favor of Bob Slepik, raise your hand. Bob, congratulations. Sorry. No, you're good, you're good, you're good. Good. And then I appreciate the vote. Bob and I kind of talked a little bit about it. And with my term coming up to end before long, I felt like some longevity would be good with maybe Bob agreeing to do it too. Not that I'm trying to dish you, Jeffrey.
That's okay.
But
No offense taken.
Anyway, so next would be nomination for vice chair. How many nominations?
I nominate Eric Couch.
That was second. Any other nominations? Now we'll close nominations. All in favor nominating Eric Couch for vice chair? Okay, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. That carries. And then the final office is that of secretary. I'm going to make the nomination that we appoint Rob Johnson, who had shoulder surgery yesterday. It's not here, to be secretary. Got a motion and a second to appoint Rob as secretary. Any other nominations? What about one of our new? I was considering a case for chairman. If not, we'll close nominations. All in favor of nominating Rob Johnson for secretary, indicate by raising your hand. All opposed, same sign. All right. Takes care of. Moving on to agenda item number 3, and I think this becomes yours, Bob. Okay, I'll switch with you.
So you just want to stay.
No, you stay with.
Yeah. All right, citizen communications, do we have any folks that would like to address the board, anybody sign up?
No, sir.
Okay, given nobody's there, let's move on to number 4. Any board members have any communications they'd like to speak for the good of the board? It's called section 615 communications. This gives members a chance to talk about things that you want the whole board to have to hear. You know, because we have to talk in open meeting format, so if you do have anything, this would be the time in a meeting to bring those kind of issues up, so.
I do have a question, and Mr. Cox, this may even be for you, but I had a taxpayer come to me and said that they'd gone in for an informal hearing and they came to an agreement on the value. And after they came to an agreement on the value in the informal hearing, then they placed a neighborhood.
Sorry,
That's all right.
I'm sorry.
Welcome, Mr. Brown.
Thank you, sir.
Hopefully we can get the judge back in here before we leave. They went in and had to place a neighborhood adjustment on top of the agreed upon value.
Well, that could happen, but not for the same year. It would have to be for the following year, because an informal value only stays for 1 year and then it comes off.
But the agreed upon informal value is the value.
Correct,
Okay.
for that year.
So on top of that, they put the neighborhood adjustment on top of it.
You're gonna have to give me the account so I can look
I
at
give it
it.
to you.
Yeah,
We can talk, yeah.
yeah.
So, and he was fine with it, but he was asking me about it, and I said, that's not right. Your agreed upon value is your agreed upon value.
Doesn't sound right. Let me look at it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, anything else?
Wait, the judge is willing to
Yeah, why
answer
don't we
Mr.
do-
Brown's oath.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
And then he will, well, I'd say he'll sign this one after he administers the other to you. You can read them all. So we'll wait to sign that. Mr. Brown. Is that okay with you, Mr. Suffolk?
Sorry,
Have him do the.
yes, please, reading Mr. Brown.
You ready for it?
Yes,
All right, Mr. Brown, up to stand.
Yes, sir.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I,
I,
please state your name,
Robert Brown,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of the office of the Canal Appraisal District Board of Directors
of the office of the Criminal Appraisal District Board of Directors
of the state of
of the
Texas,
state of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
serve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and of this state.
and of the state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
thank you, Judge.
You sign this one. And then.
We're moving on to agenda item number 5. Discussion and possible action, approval of minutes from the December 9th, 2025 regular meeting. Anyone have any thoughts or comments on that particular set of notes?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of the December 9th regular meeting as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
And motion by Mr. Couch, second by Mr. Brown to approve the minutes. All in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay, moving on to agenda item number 6. Discussion and possible action, approval of minutes from December 16th, 2025. Any thoughts or comments on that? I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of the December 16th, 2025 regular meeting as presented.
Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Miller. Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Cox, second by Mr. Miller to approve the minutes as presented. All in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, agenda item number 17, number 7, presentation by the ARB chairman, Mr. Cox, sir.
Good evening. I'll try and share a couple of things that are not in your packet there, especially for the new members. Let you know that the 2025 protest season, we had about 30,000 protests filed in Comal County, which seems like quite a few. Now, not nearly all of those come to the ARB. Most of them are settled in the back informally. And probably 2/3 of those roughly are filed by agents as opposed to individual taxpayers, and the vast majority of those are settled.
Correct.
With the staff in the back. Next week, on Tuesday and Wednesday, we do have hearings with the ARB. We've got a little under 100 protests to be heard then. They are almost all under either tax code section 41.411, which is failure to receive notice, or under tax code 25.25, which is a late protest. That means the taxpayers did not file by the May 15th deadline. They got their tax bill and then they go, oh my goodness, and then they file a protest. If it is their homestead, they have to prove that the value is 1/4 over. If it is a non-homestead property, they have to prove it's 1/3 overvalued. Both of those are a steep hill to climb. It's not impossible. I've seen it done primarily where they have a house that's got some significant issues that are unknown to the district, and they bring evidence of that to show an impairment in their value. Other than that, we've got probably less than 50 cases that are open, other than some that the district is still working with one agent group. And I think those will all be settled out. We won't see those from the ARB. Final note, there is the 2026 protest season will start in mid-May. The district will be sending out their notices of value, I understand, around the 1st of April. And people will have until May 15th to file a timely protest. And we'll start hearing those about that time, maybe even as early as the second week in May before the deadline. If I can, I'd like to refer you to the sheet that's in your packet that looks kind of like this. I put this together to kind of show you the 16 members of the ARB. The first 7 down through Jerry Walker are full members that are voting members. The remaining 9 are auxiliary members. The only difference there is that when the ARB needs to vote, I can have a quorum with only 4 of us here out of the 7. Other than that, the auxiliary members can do everything that a voting member can do. What this shows is that we actually met in 2025 on 95 different days. I was here for all but 3 of them. I didn't know this was a full-time job, but it kind of turned out that way. And you can see that I do lean heavily on the voting members. They're some of the more experienced members. And we have some very good people there. Also some very good people down here. And for the new board members, from time to time, we introduce ARB members as well as members of the staff to the board of directors. And I think you've met almost all of them at one time or another. Some of them, like Mr. Hendricks down there, the last one, he was the only person that was new in 2025. He's very well qualified. He's an appraiser and got all the initials behind his name. He probably knows more about it than most of the rest of us. He could easily be on Mr. Booker's staff if he so chose. But oh well. So that kind of gives you an idea of where everyone kind of fell in terms of accomplishing the workload last year. One other thing I wanted to share with you, Mr. Booker and Mr. Jones shared with me the Comptroller's Appraisal District 2024 Operations Survey. This is not in your packet, but They sent this to me, it's in an Excel format. And one tab of that had to do with the ARB statistics, being kind of the numbers guy. I started in there and did a little analysis on that. Comal County came in as number 24 out of the 254 counties in Texas, number 24 in the number of protests. We are number 42 in the number of ARB members. And then one that we had a little discussion. We are number 3 in the number of ARB hearing days. We had only 3 rooms to have them in. If we had 4 or 5 rooms like we had discussed with plans for the appraisal district going forward in the future, maybe we could have more members and more hearings simultaneously. We are number 69 in terms of the ARB per diem, and that's tied with 41 other counties. So we're probably right in there somewhere. Also number 69 in terms of the chairman and the TLO per diem. And we were number 16 in the total per diem paid with all the number of days that we've had. The median per diem in some counties would indicate that per diem increases for ARB members may increase for years of service instead of all being the same. Something that maybe we can think about.
Yeah, that's come up before in the history of paying by experience, you know?
And I can also share, especially for you new people, this is my 6th year here. An ARB member can only serve 3 2-year terms, so this will be my last year. Mr. Tobias that you see on the list over there is also, and this is his 6th year. We have no new people this year. The 16 people that were here last year all agreed to come back this year, and I'm very grateful for that. We have some experienced people. And if I can just throw this out there, I think the next agenda item is to appoint a chairman and the secretary for the ARB. And I have spoken with Mr. Tobias, and he and I are both willing and able to do that.
And thank you for telling us that.
Any questions? Thank you very much.
Just real quick, thank you for that, but for the purpose of the new board members, maybe you can explain, or Bob, you can, but on how the appointment process comes to the ARB, maybe how it was 2 years ago, and then how the legislature changed the law, and who made the appointment previously, and now who makes the appointment to the ARB should somebody leave and we need to.
Starting in July last year, this body, y'all appoint the ARB members. Before that, it was the judge.
And before that.
It was fair.
Yeah, well, it's gone back and forth. Yes,
But it's all determined by the legislature.
yes, yes.
By the legislature.
But we do have that responsibility. We appoint the appraisal review board members, and we also appoint the 2 board officers that are required by law, the chairman and the secretary.
And with respect to that, the taxpayer liaison officer, Kurt Anderson, who is not here this evening, is the one who collects the applications for the ARB, and he will bring them to the board. And we've been very fortunate that for the last couple of years anyway, he's had a handful of those that y'all can pick from to appoint any vacancies. But also for the last couple of years, we've had very few vacancies, again, which I'm very thankful for.
Mr. Cox, I do have a question. Yeah, looking through your spreadsheet here, you've got a couple that looks like they requested off more than they worked. Is that a problem?
It can be. A couple of people had some medical issues. I know Mr. Shima had a knee replacement. He was out towards the end of the year. Mr. Woods had some medical issues. Brenda Davis, was, towards the end of the year, was undergoing some, cancer treatments. But it's all good now for all of those people, so,
Good.
I think as far as I know, I don't have any, lingering issues with that.
Okay.
But you haven't had absences, or requested absences haven't had any impact on your ability to schedule that?
No, I have always had, enough people available to fulfill, 3 panels.
Okay.
When we needed 3 panels here. Some days, the way the schedule works out, we have only 2 panels, maybe only 1 panel. But most of the time, we have 3 panels here, myself and 9 other people.
How many are on the panel?
3.
And it really turns into, during that season, it really turns into a full-time job. I mean, it's-
Yes, we're here Monday through Friday. Last year we did Monday through Friday. In years past, we only did Monday through Thursday.
Thursdays, right?
But this way we got done earlier in the calendar year instead of stretching it out. 3 years ago, 4 years ago, we were having hearings the first week of May for the prior year and then started the next year the following Monday. Hopefully, we're not gonna do that
But
again.
the number, yeah, the problem historically, the number of protests have gone up so much.
Yes, they
You
have.
guys, I was on the ARB for about 11 years. So typically when I first started, in 09, I guess,
Okay.
08, there were like, I don't know, 3,500 protests, something like that. I mean, time I left in 21,
When I was 33,000,
They're pushing,
we were up to about 17.
yeah, we were pushing 20.
Yeah, probably pushing 20, and now we're at
33,000.
33,000 some protests. So sleepy little Comel County isn't sleepy little Comel County anymore.
And 2 factors are at work there, in my opinion. One is the rise in values that we've had in the county, and the other is just the explosive growth that we've had in the county. They're both.
You mentioned the per diem being 69th out of 200 something counties. Who sets the per diem? Is that done by the?
That's this group as well.
Everything to do with the ARB is controlled basically by this board.
Yes.
Until they're appointed, and then once they're appointed, they're autonomous. Mr. Cox comes in and gives us an update, but.
I will be here. I think last year, I don't believe I missed any meetings. I intend to be here at every meeting for the board. And welcome your questions. Anything else? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, then moving on to agenda item number 8, discussion and possible action, approve appointment of ARB chairman and ARB secretary. Question I guess I have for the board is, do we need to go into executive session and do this, or do we feel like we can do it without executive session?
I think with no turnover, I mean, it's kind of, why upset the apple cart? I don't feel like we need an executive session.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning that way myself, and we just heard from Mr. Cox and he and Mr. Silva are willing to continue to serve. I mean, unless the board has some desire to talk this over more in executive session.
It was him and Mr. Tobias, right?
Yeah, Tobias is the secretary. If not, then I'll entertain a motion appointing an ARB chairman and an ARB secretary for 2026.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend that we appoint Mr. Cox as the ARB chair and Mr. Tobias as the ARB secretary for 2026.
Second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Brown. Okay, we have a motion to appoint Mr. Cox as chairman and Mr. Tobias as the ARB secretary for 2026. Any last discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And thank the board for all you guys do for us. I mean, I do have an appreciation. All right. Agenda item number 9, chief appraiser report. Mr. Booker, sir, what you got for us?
First thing is a Crexi update. So the board remembers for our 2026 budget, y'all allowed us to budget for Crexi, which is a way for us to get sales information. We got that running January 1, first thing. And since then, we've already discovered 1,363 sales that we didn't have, only in the 13 days of January. That has increased the amount of sales in commercial by 82% that we didn't have. So we've gotten a lot of good information in half a month's time. So we'll stay keeping track of it to see how much more we can find. There's a lot of information there, so we'll keep digging, but it looks like it's going to be very helpful. So. For the new board members, we do have an introductory binder for y'all. Y'all can pick it up on y'all's way out. In that binder, there's going to be a lot of information. And it's going to be very overwhelming. It's going to give you a couple manuals, the board of directors manual, the comptroller's manual. It's going to have all of our reappraisal and mass appraisal plans. Those are all required by the comptroller. Big things in there are going to be, it's going to have the 25 and the 26 budget, so y'all can see where we were at and where we came to for 26. And the last big things is going to be a map review and a PVS. Both of those are required by the comptroller. One is the property value study. The reason that's important, we are tested on that every odd number year, and that affects school funding. So we need to be within 95 and 105%, and they look at our values to make sure we're appraising things properly, excuse me. The map review, that's a method and assistance program. Actually, they're scheduled to come in here soon. Comptroller comes into our office and reviews our records, making sure we're following what the code says and our procedures are accurate. So if y'all have any questions about those binders, give me a call. I'd be happy to answer any questions y'all may have. It's a lot of information, so please feel free to reach out. One thing I did want to bring up, just as a discussion, we did have a feasibility study done last year through Park Hill. Like Mr. Cox said, we're growing and this county is growing. We're growing out of this building. So we only anticipate about another 5 years. The district did talk to our representative at Park Hill. He had an idea to have the board give him a number of the amount of money. I know he gave us the Taj Mahal in our original feasibility study that was done, but if they had an idea, or if we had an idea of what we wanted to spend, he could look at our building and use those funds to make it work with what we already have. So just something to think about. I don't know what the right answer is right now, but.
You know, I thought about that. You and I talked about it briefly, and I think that's a hard thing to come out with, because I think we need to look at what are our needs. I mean, I know he's already done one. It's kind of the Taj Mahal.
Right.
Now, I mean, we need space. We don't need fancy. I mean, and I think we talked about that even in their presentation originally.
Correct.
So I think really, in my opinion, is for us as a group to look at the original proposal and get an idea of what can we live with, what can we live without.
Sure.
And then let us maybe start going back to the drawing board for price. I know he's given us his estimate of price. This is not with the benefit of a contractor.
Right.
And so he's on the very high end of things to begin with.
Sure.
Yeah, I had a discussion with our county treasurer at the city county officials.
I know her.
You know that thing? And you know, the county is gonna be building a justice center out on the corner of Rooker Road and Interstate 35 eventually. And so, you know, as you look around the state, there are places that have a tax office, an appraisal district, all housed within county property and don't really even own any property. And then you get some cohesiveness from, if somebody might go to the tax office thinking that they're going to the appraisal district or vice versa.
Right.
And also shared meeting space and some things. And so, you know, that, I don't know, I was all for, you know, building something, but as the county continues to grow and then, you know, move other parts of the county out to the new Goodwin building, or I think they're calling it the Goodwin building, out off Loop 337.
Yes.
And then the Justice Center out off of Loop 337, Brooker Road and 35.
They want to redo the elections office, the tax office, I mean, all of that. You know, they got a plan for here in town.
Right. And so maybe, you know, maybe it's not that we've got to go build a building or even add on to this to this building if we can get there. But I don't know the time frame
Well,
around
none of
Justice
it-
Center.
I don't think the county knows the time frame either.
Right, yeah, so,
Because they haven't figured out how to pay for it.
right.
We have office within the courthouse before. That'll be our first go around.
So anyways, it's just a.
No, it's a
just
thought, yeah,
just
no,
a
that's
thought.
actually not a bad thought.
Think of all the things and, you know, being, I think there's some benefit to being, oh no, you're in the wrong spot. Now you have to go drive down Seguin Avenue, or they show up here
Right.
thinking they're gonna pay their tax bill, or they're going to renew their vehicle registration or license or something like that. Where you just have somebody open the door and go, oh no, they're down in suite 110 or something like that, just downstairs. Anyways, just a thought as I'm thinking through this and thinking back through the Parkville study and the cost associated with it and the inconvenience that it creates for this office if we were to do something here, and moving logistically is just, you know, it's just another option as we're
Something to think about it.
looking at it. But again, timeframe, I don't know. Sorry, Jeffrey, I didn't mean to.
You know,
No,
I think the
in general.
thing we've really got to consider, well, one of the things is we're kind of landlocked with where we're at. You know, there is space right next door that is currently available for sale, vacant land, there's a possibility of some behind us, but. You know, I think that we're going to have to move on that prior to the county. Just to protect ourselves, because if we don't wait on it and it doesn't work out, we're gonna.
Yeah, because if we went to the county with this, I mean, even if they're willing, it's gonna take some redesign work, because that idea of putting us in with them is not in that Park Hill plan for the county.
No.
I mean, none of that is in there, and I mean, we're not a huge amount of space, but we're not an insignificant amount of space, even when it comes to what they're, you know, already planned, so.
Sure. Just a thought as I'm thinking through it.
That's a good thought.
How
No, it
many
is
employees
pretty
on this facility?
41. Thanks, Doug. Moving on, elections protocol. So just so everybody knows, we do have 3 elected positions. We will have to have an election this year. The deadline to file for a position is July 18th. We have to give notice of election on August 11th. And then we have to canvass that election on November 10th, excuse me. So all that is coming up later in the year.
Swell.
And Michelle has perfected it, so it's gonna go smooth.
So, Mr. Jones and Mr. Brown are both elected, and then
Mr. O'Neill's spot.
Mr. O'Neill, you'll be on the ballot. Get your campaign signs out.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun.
Let me tell you. Yeah, you might want to visit with Rob when he gets back.
Yeah.
Find out what his success was.
Yeah.
And, I'm not so sure. Elected without running for office.
Uh-huh.
Yes, sir.
So next we have the property value study. I know I mentioned that earlier. So those results are due January 31st.
What's our testing look like?
Looks good. Yeah, looks
How's
like
that
we're good.
one sore thumb and commercial side?
We're still waiting. We haven't gotten the final results back. So now we just have to wait till January 31st. So
You wanna maybe kind of fill me, because to me, this is one of the most important things for what we do.
sure, kind of like I mentioned earlier, we're tested on odd number of years by the comptroller. We have to be within 105 and 95%. So we have a range there. If we fall out and the school district, we're not within confidence, it affects their school funding. They don't get the state aid fund that they should be getting. We would probably get a grace period if we fell out because we have passed our MAPS review. So they would still get state funding, but if we failed that second year, they wouldn't receive the funding from the state. So it plays a big impact on the school districts.
And if you fail, you're tested the next year.
Correct.
So it's not, they don't wait 2 years to test you again. You're only tested every 2 years if you pass the
If you're
property
within
valuation
confidence.
test. If you're within confidence, 95 to 105.
Correct.
And it's taking the total valuation of.
They're only taking samples and they do it by value range. So, and the comptroller might have sales that we don't have, and they're testing us on stuff that we might not have, so.
But
They
they
don't have MLS.
they look at residential, they'll look at commercial.
Vacant land, BPP,
Yeah.
every category
They
we
got
have.
categories and then yeah, it's a crapshoot, because council comes down with their numbers on properties. And we may or may not have those numbers, and so they're looking to see, here's what the property actually sold for, here's what you guys valued it at. And they want us to be between that 95 and 105% of that, what it was sold for value.
And they don't tell us which ones they're testing.
And they don't tell us which ones they're gonna test.
So
They have the answers. We have to work our math to get to an answer. They actually have the answer.
So,
And so,
I will say in 2023, for both school districts, we were at 98 and 95, 99%. So we
So
were,
you're pretty close.
yeah, we were.
They're not playing any like
Oh.
gotcha. The comptroller doesn't play gotcha.
Jeffrey and his staff have worked very hard to get us within grace, because we were out of grace, which cost each district about $3 million
Right.
4 years ago, 5 years ago.
For
That was with the prior leadership. That was not with Jeffrey's leadership.
Right.
And so it's a real deal. I mean, and so when you hear people going, oh, y'all are just pricing us out and everything else. We don't want to be right. We want to get it right. I mean, we want to be as close to 100% of fair market value as we can physically get, because we get punished just as much as we're overvalued as if we were undervalued.
Right.
But once people get that, then they kind of, oh, okay, I didn't know that.
but the hard challenge is we don't get the sales data. How much on like residential property, what would you say you get actual sales data?
Out of the 12,000 deed transfers we have a year, we get about 25% of the sales that happen.
And on commercial, it's even less.
So commercial,
Nice.
The Crexy thing, does that help you with that, or what's that?
yes, sir, that's where it's raised the number of sales by 82%.
Okay,
This
to
first,
capture more of that
Yep.
data so that you know that you're closer.
Yep.
It ought to help you with your, I mean, 98, 99% is pretty good. I mean,
It is.
I'd rather you be just under 100 than just
It's
over
okay,
100.
man.
and- Yeah,
And
Then
just
you
my
have-
ignorance, why do we not get the data? Is it because it's an all cash sale that doesn't show up, or?
because
why
Texas is a non-disclosure state.
Texas is not a closure state.
You don't have to tell us what
You don't have to tell me.
$10 and other
Yeah, I
considerations.
mean, normally the
Is
deed,
what the
it
deed
says
says.
$10 and other considerations.
We do send out letters asking them to disclose the information to us, and that's what he's talking about 25% response.
And you do get people that come in like for ARB hearings, don't come in with,
With
you
the
know,
sale and.
where the property owner's gotten sales data from MLS. But yeah, the realtors cut.
They lobby pretty
When I
hard.
was on the ARB, the realtors cut off the appraisal districts in Texas. They said, we're not, because they used to be a guest member or something, they had some kind of membership that where they could go in and look at MLS.
That's what I was thinking, that was, they have some sort of
Now,
visibility.
the realtor organizations came back and said,
Interesting. So all you're doing is relying on people helping you respond.
right,
And they're, generally, people are pretty good with that. I mean, but I mean, if you bought a house in Comal County, I'm sure you've gotten one of these letters.
Did the Crexy raise it to 82% of known values, or it increased what you know?
It increased in our commercial, but it increased at 82%. Which that's coming from 40 sales. We don't get a lot in commercials, so.
And if there's an outlier, especially in commercial, is where it's gonna really, that's what Eric was asking about, you know?
yeah, because when they come down, right, the sample size could be so small when they come down from the comptroller's office to do that, all it takes is one sale that, I mean, that is an outlier and.
Huge commercial piece.
I mean, and you know, it's millions of dollars and all of a sudden you're way out of compliance with the value.
A Cisco or a
Yeah.
Schlitterbahn, or, you know, maybe a large hotel.
Yeah, that's why I was asking if the comptroller does like a gotcha thing. I know I represented taxpayers on sales tax, and comptroller does the same thing. They'll come in and review your books if you have too many sales, and they'll pick a couple of transactions, and I swear they pick the outliers every single time and try to, and then they project it out. I had a guy that maybe underpaid taxes by $10,000, but they projected it out to a $200,000 tax liability, and so it's like, I always felt like the comptroller was out to get us.
Feels like it sometimes.
But we challenged it, we won though.
Yeah.
Beat the comptroller, so but works sometimes.
Yep. Different views of the same coin.
Yeah, that's right.
I guess that is my question. So does the same thing apply here? So if they review commercial accounts and you're out X number of percent out of compliance, do they apply that to the valuation of all of the accounts that fall into that range?
No, sir,
No.
our value stays. It's only, they only use those numbers for their school funding to make sure we're in compliance. So if for some reason we accidentally overappraised somebody and they said we were wrong, that person stays overappraised for that year.
Yeah, and you're not asking if they're requiring us to change them, are you asking that?
So in his scenario, it was like fines and penalties are associated, right? You underpaid sales tax.
No.
What I'm trying to see is the value.
Now, they're just using this as a check thing to come down and grade us. So there's no, I mean, they don't tell him, yeah, you say the value of the property is $100,000, you got it at $80,000, you have to change it to no, that doesn't happen. The taxpayer doesn't get involved in any of that.
Got it.
And then the one thing too about the ARB, so let's say that we do have a protest and it comes in. If it goes to ARB and ARB sets the value on it, that is the defined value. And so there's no, I don't care what, what the comptroller had it at, ARB, what ARB sets is what everybody goes with. So that's why you see more stuff going to ARB.
Actually, if-
It took them a while to decide to do that too, because weren't they holding ARB values against us for a while?
Like if it's in the testing and we see it is an ARB value and it's the ratio is way off, they will take our notice value. We can prove to them. That's our checklist that they send us when we run through all of them. So.
That's one which we're gonna
So talking about the comptroller, map review, we kind of touched on that a little bit. They come into the office and look at all of our paperwork, making sure we're following the procedures that we put out. They'll be in our office, a representative will January 26th, that whole week. We set them up with a computer, all the files are on the computer. Let that rep look at everything, get them any documentation they need. So also that week, our auditor will be in the office as well. So we're getting that done very early. The audit has to be done within 150 days as of January the 1st, or from January the 1st. So
It's gonna be a fun week.
yeah, it'll be busy. We did have hearings, but I kicked Mr. Cox out.
Yeah.
We're good.
Budget, so we do have a budget workshop, which is gonna be April 14th, and then our budget hearing will be May 19th. We have to have our budget approved or sent to the entities by June 1st. So we get our budget done very early within the year, and that's a budget for 2027.
Explain to them how we have to get the budget, who ends up approving the budget.
Oh, well, y'all do, and then it goes to the entities and they can either approve or disapprove the budget.
So the entities get a vote.
Jeffrey, while we're on there, this might be a question for Ron, really. What about our audit for the year? When is that gonna take place?
They're coming in January 26th. Our auditors are.
Our auditors are as
Yeah.
well.
Yep,
Okay.
they're gonna be here the same week as the map reviewers.
Okay.
It's gonna be a busy week.
Okay, yeah, we put them in the office together.
No. No. The reason that happened, Mr. Couch, when the comptroller reached out to me, they had two dates, one in January and one in February, and then they wouldn't come until May for our map review. When I called, the February was taken and they only had the January one open, so I didn't want to wait till May to get it done, so. The last thing I have is our next meeting is February 24th, unless y'all have any questions.
Questions? All right, thank you, Jeffrey.
Yes, sir.
Let's move on to agenda item number 10, financial report. Mr. Cobb, sir. I assume you're,
I'm actually here this time,
yes.
so. On their financial summary, there's gonna be a couple of documents in here. One's gonna be our profit and loss budget performance. This is kind of the document that we use to just show how much we spent on each line item, how much was budgeted, the percent that was spent. I'm gonna do it a little bit differently, just because we're gonna look at the entire 2025 year instead of trying, I mean, because we're not even through January as of yet, so. I'm gonna give you some ideas on on what 2025 was looking at. Please keep in mind that we're still receiving invoices for the year of 2025, and the audit's obviously gonna be conducted at the end of January. So some of these numbers can change a little bit. For a financial summary ending the year, I'd like to go over two different aspects of it. Ones that we spent less than 80% of what we budgeted, and ones that we spent over 100% of what we budgeted. Because obviously one might indicate that we budgeted too much, and the other one would indicate that we did not budget enough, right? So I'll go over through some of that as we go through the document. As far as income goes, outside of contributions or investments, our income was around $8,209.06. Once we get the final audit numbers, we'll be able to include our investment income as well into that number.
Wait, what'd you say our income was?
8,209, not counting contributions,
Okay, I got you.
not counting contributions or investments.
I got you, I'm sorry, I was looking at.
Yeah, no.
So this is fees for,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that could be things like open records, PPP penalty, if there's any type of entity.
Appraisal card.
Yeah, appraisal cards, anything like that. So it's usually, we don't generate a lot of income, at the appraisal district. For the new members, contributions are from the entities is how we fund our budget. So our budget is split into 4 quarters. The entities pay based off of a percentage ratio of how much levy they generate from the overall levy that all the entities generate. So Comal ISD is typically going to be our largest contributor, and down from there. So when I refer to contributions, or you see this first page of the financial summary, this is actually their contributions to our operating budget that we use. So obviously all the entities that pay it, so they're all at 100%. The majority of the categories that were under 80% were going to be categories that had very low margin in them to begin with. So you're going to be looking at accounts that maybe have, $3,000 or $4,000. And so some of those just have a lot less margin of error in them for us to budget. And so sometimes we budget just a little bit too much, and the percentages show in a different way. But categories that includes are directors' expenses, which is going to be things like training for the board of directors. It could be employee recognition, things of that nature, dues and subscriptions, advertisements, which are going to be publishings or things that we have to put in the newspaper, or if we have to post jobs or something and we choose to do it in the paper, we would do it there. Capital expenses, I'll go through the document. I'm just kind of reading some points here, but capital expenses is going to be a big one that's probably going to show under 80% most years. We budget a large amount of money for large capital expenses, like if an AC unit goes out or something like that. So we kind of have to budget some margin in there in case something like that happens, but we did not have any of those expenses this year. So obviously that's going to be lower. But computers and things are in the capital expenses as of right now. So maintenance and repairs, we are only under 80% in that line because we did a line item transfer in it in the 4th quarter of 2025 because we were actually a little bit over at that time. So but because of the time that we did the line item transfer, we budgeted a little bit of cushion into it in case something happened and we need to fix it at the end of the year. Copier and printing papers or copier leases and overage charges, it's a pretty small amount that we only budget about $12,000 in that. And vehicle expenses, as our vehicles age, we budget more of a cushion into that category because we don't know. Obviously, we know if there's going to be scheduled maintenance on those vehicles, but we don't know if there's going to be an unscheduled type event that might happen with it. So we try to be prepared so that we can keep those vehicles in good working order for our staff to use. Categories that were over 100% were only 2 this year, and we did line item transfers for them in the 4th quarter. Those were maintenance and repairs, which I've already gone over. and data processing, which data processing is just software licensing. It can be things for cybersecurity, Office 365, but we did exceed that item, but we corrected it in our line item transfer. So those are really the high points as far as the financial summary. If you want to go, if you followed along through it, it was kind of choppy, but I mean, the 80% ones, you know, if you look at page 2, director's expenses, that's going to show around 45%. Dues and subscriptions is right below that. That's at 55%. Advertisements is at 57%. If you go to page 3, you're going to see at the very top capital expenses, we have 0 in building equipment replacement and furniture. That's one of the reasons why that line is so out of whack on that. And then repairs and supplies, obviously we did a line item transfer on that, which pushed that under 80%, but corrected it for what we were doing. Further down, copier printing, that's about 68%, but it's only a $12,000 line item. Vehicle expenses is at 77%. Below that, 8,600 contract services. For legal services, we're still waiting on about 3 invoices. So currently we're at $376,000 spent in that. And we have a budget of 600,000. We have no fear going over it. We're just not exactly sure what those invoices are going to be. Based off the last few invoices, they've been relatively low. No,
Between 30 and 40, probably.
Yeah.
Are they paying you all that money?
I always like to point out legal services because it is a category that's kind of in flux, and you know it can range drastically. So,
And if I can, Ryan,
Yes,
and in legal services, remember, if we have to go to suit, there's some padding in there, like Schlitterbahn was a good example a couple of years ago. We don't really know what to expect from year to year on that, so.
a lawsuit can really throw our legal budget out of if it goes to trial or something. It can really
Hey, Ryan, what's the administration?
talking about on the
7,100?
second page.
It's on the part, yeah, second page, I'm sorry, at the top. I mean, it's,
So the administration, real property appraiser, commercial property appraiser, and taxpayer assistance, those are basically employee categories that Pam puts into QuickBooks. It's really for auditing purposes, but we have to class each employee into a certain bucket for different things.
well, let me ask you a different way. Are we short in the administrative side? I mean, why did we budget so much?
I would say that most likely, and Pam, you can jump in here if I'm wrong, but I would guess that in administration, all of the reserve funds for any type of PTO payout or
I got you.
anything are also put into that administration.
That makes sense.
Or somebody retires.
Right, that makes sense.
So it's gonna look like it's out of whack, but there's other things.
Got it. Okay.
Well, that was my question, but also the line item above it, the payroll expense from no annual budget, what's the difference?
Pam, 66,000.
186,000 shouldn't be there. It should be assigned to one of these other classes.
So we'll look at that pre-audit and we'll obviously get some of those things figured out.
That happens every single month. That's where all the payroll goes, is to that number, and then I recode it to whatever category it goes to, whether it's real property or whatever, and I guess I didn't do it, or he ran this before I did it. I'm pretty sure I'm done, but he may have run this before I finished.
So some of that could be in that administrative line, is what you're saying.
For sure.
It will be, some of it will be.
Low into
But
that.
we're still gonna be short in administration.
And then on the last page, our contract services are right around 91%, which is, or page 4, I'm sorry. Which is pretty good. Insurance and bonding is right around 85%, and appraisal review board is looking really good this year at 84%. In several years past, we've had to do line item transfers and things just because the ARB season has gone on for so long, not to any fault of the ARB or anything, it's just the sheer volume and the days that we have to put.
What are ARB miscellaneous expenses?
ARB miscellaneous expenses, ARB miscellaneous expenses, well, I can tell.
I think that's what we put in there for like, if you had to bring in meals or something.
It is.
It could be that, it could also be any type of supplies, we also have to get ARB hearing procedures printed, things like that.
Yeah.
ARB envelopes to send out,
Right.
board orders and that types of stuff, so it's really, it's kind of like office supplies, but yeah. All right, do we have any questions on the financial side?
How many vehicles are included in?
We have 9 fleet vehicles currently, yes.
7 cars and 2 trucks.
And those range from, I think we purchased the first one in 2018, and then we purchased 3 each year, or not 3 each year, but basically 3, 3, and 2, I believe. So they're anywhere from 7 to 4 years old. So, but they're pretty low mileage. I mean, they're just a bit older, but we try to maintain them and keep them going. Any other questions regarding the financial? Okay. So the next one is going to be our investment report. This is going to be the first quarter investment report for 2026, but it's really only going to cover this month of December. And we'll do one of these at usually every single meeting, regardless of what quarter it's in. So you'll get updated information throughout this. We did not have any of our treasury bills mature in December, but the 3 treasury bills that we do have are listed there, and the rates are ranging from 3.38% to 3.82%. At the time of doing this report, we had a 3.69% on our money market account, even though pretty much all of our funds are in the treasury bills at this time. We have maturity dates on these ranging from January 1st, 2020, or January 22nd, sorry, to May 21st. I don't know why I want to say 2022 so bad. And we actually have, we only accrued $8.65 in interest because we didn't hardly have any money in our money market account during the month of December. So, but if you go to the next page, you can actually see where all of our investment funds are allocated. So currently we have 400 or just over 499,000 in committed capital. We've got about 102,000 in committed litigation, 64,000 in healthcare, just in the event that healthcare costs change because we have to budget so early in the year. The board has some play there if we need it. And then we just have a general income assignment. That's just really where income at the end of the year, that $8,200 plus whatever, other income that we receive, that just kind of goes into that right there. And it's, the board can vote to use that on different things if it needs to be done at that time. So, and then we have a committed absences fund, which is 120,000. This basically covers any payments to the best way that the auditor put this is that if we were to go out of business and we had to pay out all of the accrued PTO for retirement employees and things like that, we need to have a committed fund in the event to cover that. So if legislation decided to dissolve us, we would not have to rely so heavily on entities. At any time, just going over these committed funds, if the board decided, hey, you know what, we need more in litigation, we've got this trial coming up, we need to have 300,000 instead of 100,000, the board can reallocate these funds at any time at a meeting. So as long as it's on the agenda. This is just where they're currently earmarked based off of where the board approved us to keep them. So.
Ryan, what are the durations again on the treasury bills?
Generally speaking, they're usually around 6 months. Sometimes if there's not a big play between the interest rates, will go 3 months. I usually have a very brief conversation with the person at our frost brokerage rep to decide if we need to go longer term or shorter term, and I just kind of rely on some of their advice for that. But currently, they're usually 6 months.
Is that our only option, treasury bills?
It's not. There's some other. I mean, we can do commercial paper. We can do different things. Treasury bills are probably the easiest to manage and the lowest risk that we can, I mean, you could. CDs don't really yield as much as T-bills, So it's not the only option, but with the amount of funds that we have and the liquidity that we want to maintain with the feasibility study and things, it just kind of makes it predictable.
We're also not subject to the 250 that you would be in a CD.
Right.
Under our investment policy. So, but they're gonna cut in March, they're gonna cut again right after that. So if we can get those maturing ones locked up as quick as possible.
I'll try to push out longer terms on those two and then.
Maybe stagger a 6 and 9 or 6 and 12, whatever you can do.
Pretty sure everybody will be paying 0.1%.
Well, I mean,
Again.
if they start doing what they're talking about and injecting $200 billion into the bond and mortgage-backed security market, you're gonna see rates falling as far as offered.
Do we have any questions on the investments? And then the last page in this is just going to be a balance sheet ending December 31st. So we throw that in there for reference as well.
Any questions from the board from Mr. Down? All right, Ryan, thank you.
Thank you.
Don't go anywhere. Agenda item number 11, discussion of possible action approved by resolution the 2026 investment policy.
Wow.
What exactly?
They said, no, I thought you were talking to Mr. Brown. So I don't have the investment policy in front of me, but there were no changes from 2025. We're still maintaining the changes that we made last year, which actually I believe in the purchasing policy is where we made the change where we inventoried only 5,000 and more.
Right.
But the investment policy, really all that we updated, there were no material changes. We only updated the date and the proposed date on the.
Is that in here?
It's the.
Yeah, because I'm gonna ask you here in a moment, everybody's gonna sign a resolution regarding the investment policies, so it requires each board member to sign that. So if you have any qualms, now's gonna be the time to bring any of that up. This summarizes it pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna go over what our objectives are. The primary objectives of the appraisal district or any local government entity are gonna be safety, liquidity, diversification yield. But safety and liquidity are always gonna be the most important things for us, especially.
Ours, or in AAA or AAA-M, whatever that is.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it talks to that, but anyway, each of us has to sign this resolution.
So is Frost collateralizing us at 102% on everything?
No, they're not. They're collateralizing us at 130%.
Oh, wow. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I think you told me that last meeting.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I think it's a little higher, isn't it?
It's 100. Well, I mean, it may range just based off of what assets they have, but it's not gonna range very much. I mean, their agreement's 130%.
I believe they're willing to do that. More power to them.
They really like working with me.
I love Larry. Keep it up.
But also Mr. Brown or Mr. Robert Brown, specific. On page probably 4 of that, it's gonna go into more of the types of accounts that we have. I mean, we can do sweep accounts, money market accounts. It's gonna go over the certificate of deposits and the share certificates and specifically what we can invest in, how they're secured and things like that, so.
Yeah, I'll just give everybody a couple seconds to look through that particular argument.
Have we looked at pools or anything for some of this money? Are we not big enough for the pools?
We honestly haven't really looked at it, to be honest with you.
There's so many good brokers out there that are handling government funds. I'd love to see maybe some of these that don't, like security service or Randolph Brooks, be replaced with people that actually specialize in that. I mean, it doesn't have to be done now, but maybe something to consider for our next year.
Yeah, these are all really just holdovers from when we did certificates of deposit and things like that. Really, the only one we currently use is cross brokerage services. So I mean, we can definitely update that, take some of those out and look at some other options. We actually have our new investment, we're required to do mandatory investment training every 2 years, so we're doing that in March. So that'll give us another opportunity to look at some of that stuff and maybe get some contacts.
I know Class is one of them, and I don't think the other one, so yeah, all they do is government funds.
Okay.
We had a chance to take a look. You know, I need a motion to approve the resolution.
Excuse me, I'll make a motion to approve by resolution the 2026 investment policy is presented.
Second,
Second.
any, Mr. Brown.
Brown.
Mr. Brown.
Confusing.
I know, that's right.
Motion by Mr. Miller, second by Mr. Brown to approve, by resolution, the 2026 investment plan is presented. Any last discussion? All in favor, indicate by saying aye with your right hand, or say raise your right hand. Any opposed, same sign, motion passes. Okay, what I'm going to do is start this around, so as it comes by, if each of you indicate spot, please sign your name. All right, that's going on. Now it's session 12. And that's closed executive session. I don't see any reason that we need a closed executive session.
Any updates on any litigation we need to talk about?
No, sir.
Cool.
Been going pretty smooth.
Everybody a chance to sign.
Trying to keep that
Close the
2025
meeting
cost
here.
down.
I like that. Yeah, don't come to the bill on 2026.
For the new guys, that used to not happen very often, where we didn't have to go into executive session and have a discussion about some litigation, but it's pre-Jeffrey, but Jeffrey got to have some of the carry.
We got to clean it up.
That's right.
The compliment of
All right,
NPA.
so we had no executive session. And we don't need to discuss anything to take action on it, and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Well moved.
And you have a second.
I'll second it, Mr. Chairman.
All right, so a motion was made by Mr. Miller, seconded by Mr. Couch to approve to adjourn the meeting at 6:42. All right, thank you. All make sure you sign.
Hey, y'all don't get